Every real cowboy like myself knows how lonely it is out on the open range, which is why I listen to the Cowboy Boys podcast. With best contractually obligated friends, Shayne Smith and Mac Arthur, the Cowboy Boys will comfort your soul better than any disease-ridden saloon gal ever could. Cowboy Boys.
Are you?
Yeah, dude, I'm fucking here.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Do the intro.
Hi, welcome to Cowboy Boys, episode 152.
Yeah, you're within 5.
No, what is it?
It's 155.
What? I feel like it was 150 so recent ago.
Let's go to our website.
Let's go to the website and find out.
Cowboyboys.rodeo.
Yeah.
Yeah, 154 was the last one. This is
Damn,
155.
dude, what the fuck? We just are zooming through these, man.
Yes, we are.
It'll be episode 500 in no time.
I think a podcast gets really good around episode 300.
Yeah, you got to stick through it till about episode 300.
If you're listening now, you're either a weird autistic person in the future who's like, I got to go back and get every single episode, or a hardcore OG fan. And guess what? You might be both. You definitely could be both of those fans together. You just were early and autistic.
Yeah.
Have you ever listened to like a podcast? Like, you're like, I love that thing so much, I'm going to go back and listen to every single episode.
Yeah.
I've done it. I've tried to do it. I tried to do it once or twice, and then I get like a couple hundred in, and I'm like, I just like, I forget.
A couple hundred
episodes, and then I like forget, because there's podcasts that have like thousands of episodes.
That's crazy. All the podcasts I like the most have like 8 episodes because they come out like twice a year or whatever. They're like history things.
British style.
Yeah.
All the TV shows have like...
That's how I wish our podcast was. It's just one quarterly.
Start another podcast.
A quarterly podcast?
Yeah,
I've thought about it. I'm just going to do stuff on YouTube.
The Shayne Smith Power Hour.
The Shayne Smith Power Hour.
How you feeling? How is
Dude, I feel good.
I feel bad. My throat hurts.
That's what you get. You have COVID.
I thought I did, because my lungs hurt the first day, and then I was like just wiped out, but like I had like a sore throat the next day, and I realized because I was like, why did my lungs hurt and then my sore throat? But it's not like it didn't feel like a disease. You know how like there's like physical pain?
Yeah.
And then there's like I have germs touching every little part of me pain.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a very sharp pain where like, oh, I'm dying or I'm growing. Something like that.
Yeah.
Where your like intestines are just twist the wrong way and then resort themselves. Something weird. That like the many types of bodily pain. This was just like, I was like, this is not disease pain. And I was like, what did I do? And I was like, I ran like 5-10 miles or whatever. Who knows? I ran a bunch. I'm a runner.
Yeah.
And then immediately when I was getting home, I saw that they were demolishing a building in our neighborhood. So I started just watching. I was being a looky-loo, just hanging around, watching all the Hispanic guys watch the head Hispanic guy drive a bulldozer into a building.
Oh.
And I watched him for 40 minutes while I was just breathing in old building dust.
That should have been your destiny.
Yeah,
you should have been the head Hispanic guy.
I'm not kidding. This is I bring this up because it reminded me of, do you ever like see something and you're like, oh, that's what I wanted to do as a child? I remember being young Mac and drawing in like when I grow up, I'm going to become a demolitions expert.
Oh.
And I would like draw buildings explode and stuff. Were
there people in them?
If they were, hey, I'm the building expert. That's for social workers to clear out the building before me.
Okay.
I was not. Two different worlds. So I was watching all these guys destroy this building, just breathing in the 160-year-old asbestos dust.
Yeah.
And just sitting there like, wow, they're really living life. And I'm gonna I'll put up a video where I sat there for like 40 minutes.
That long?
Yeah, breathing in the dust. Like people were going and leaving, and they did. This is what I really got jealous, so the guys have hoses to like kick down the dust.
Yeah.
And there was some like paparazzi, professional nerd guy who had like a nice camera that was filming the entire time.
Yeah.
And they were like setting up the hoses, and they were like, whoops, and they like clearly did a fake fall, and they sprayed like a bunch of misty air water into the guy in the camera to force him to loop, and they all started laughing at him.
Funny.
It was just like, we got you, what are you gonna do about it? Film us? We don't fucking care. We're a union, or we're not union, we don't have name, we're illegal. I don't know. They clearly did not care. And I love when a construction worker, like a blue collar worker, is just like, fuck you. You have no power.
Yeah. Why was he filming them rudely, or
no? He was actually filming them very like, just like paparazzi documentary. I'm going to sell this footage to like news later, kind of Nightcrawler-ish.
Oh, probably. I guess
maybe for his own creepy building demolishing fetish. He looked like that kind of a guy.
So he's a guy just sitting there doing nothing wrong, and you watched him get sprayed?
I watched.
Like, yeah, that's what you get for existing.
I watched my people spray his people, and I was like, Viva la raza. That's right. It was so funny. I have that on video too. Not the spraying, but what the guy looked like.
We got to get you just an orange vest and a hard hat so you can wander into these places and then kind of get involved, you know?
If I had an orange hat that might be too powerful. And a guy who looks like me, I kind of just look like I need to be fixed. Except I might accidentally get roped into like fixing things.
Yeah. What do you mean roped into? You'd love it, dude.
I would, and that's what I mean. I'd
just
be like,
get a part-time job
fixing
doing
things.
Construction.
No, because now that I'm doing podcasting, I gotta protect my money maker. my voice's been all like, so that's why I was like, I realized it clicked. I'm like, I was just watching Breathe in Dust. But the best part of the video was that the tower fell, and it looked like it was gonna smash through the scaffolding and kill a bunch of dudes, and it didn't kill guys, and everyone was very like, we almost died. That's such a fun man feeling.
Yeah, when you're like, whoa!
Nothing, and I'm not telling women, I don't think you can. This is just a dude-only feeling, is that joy, and it's not even like a joy, it's like a laughter. It's like a very funny...
Yeah, it's a very specific, like...
It's a very funny, pure, we almost died, and we're all laughing now.
Yeah.
Feeling.
I have it all the time.
What?
Something really bad almost happens to me pretty often.
And I think this is why women live longer, because they understand.
Yeah.
They understand almost dying, and they're like, no, the proper response is not laughing about it. It's screaming and keep pulling the kids aside and running. Where dudes are like, ooh, whoops. It's usually when you watch like people jumping trucks or lighting things on fire, all those funny videos, you kind of see a little bit of it. That kind of
yeah.
What was your last near-death experience? If you want to talk about it, I don't want to put you on the spot.
I guess I put the Tesla into autopilot, and the autopilot came off.
You had a Tesla? Wait. Back up.
Yeah.
What? You had a Tesla?
I drove a Tesla.
How did this come about?
So I forgot my driver's license when we went to Minneapolis.
So wait, you this is the first time you've ever driven a Tesla,
and
you're starting the story with, I forgot my driver's license.
Yeah. So here's what happened.
So wait, in your mind, you're like, well, I can't legally drive, but if a robot drives for me,
there it is. That's what I did.
Officer, I'm not driving.
The fucking robot. Yeah, so it's the future. So here's what happened. We flew to Minneapolis because it was much cheaper, and then drove to Appleton, which is 2 hours away.
Okay.
I was going to rent a car.
How were the shows?
But the state of New York, the shows were fucking great.
Okay.
The state of New York, I needed to get a new fancy license because the government is making us have a new license or we can't fly.
Yeah.
You have to have a real ID or you can't fly.
What do you mean?
That's real.
What if I don't have an ID?
You're fucked.
You don't
get to fly unless you have a passport or a real ID.
Damn. And here, everyone likes to make fun of libertarians until the government forces you to get an ID. You need an internal country passport. That's not what the founding fathers wanted.
But you already needed
that.
The
founding fathers wanted us to be able to go across state lines and get abortions, buy guns, buy weed, and your state is just like, oh, we can't do anything about it.
As a libertarian, would you force the states to comply?
Force what states?
Any state.
No state should comply to any other state's thing. That's
So
kind of-
as a libertarian, your idea is to do the least libertarian thing possible.
no, wait. So
Yeah, I was like,
No,
you
there's-
trapped yourself.
there is a perfect balance of the federal government is supposed to make sure that none of the states fuck with each other, and that's it.
Oh, okay, so that's not libertarianism.
No, that's just a bunch
So
of
then all the
states.
states will be the worst.
Yeah, some of them. Some of
There's
them.
no state you'll go where it'll be a libertarian paradise at that
Wait,
point.
This is
so you're like an anarchist
no,
where it's
no.
like, it never works.
The idea of libertarianism is it's basically get Donald Trump in office and give him no power to do anything. Have all three branches of the government hate each other.
But
and
the
nothing,
states are more powerful and evil than the federal government by a long shot.
That is true.
Yeah, they're
It's-
like way worse.
the entire-
Remember when Utah was like, you can't drink in a restaurant? Remember how funny that was?
That was
I didn't
funny.
care because I'm straight edge, but I remember being like, oh man, if you want to drink at Applebee's, they make you go behind a curtain like a
Yeah.
pervert. It's so funny.
I kind of do like states' rights.
They're
Because
insane.
it is-
States are crazy.
It is funny to see like how regionally the laws just are like because giant cities attract different types. Like how every city like this. You know what? In this country, or in this part of the county, we're gonna make it so if you don't chop off your pinky, you can't live here. And I was like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
That is the failing of
It's the
states.
Nevada thing where they're like, prostitution's legal except for in the main spot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does it? The prostitution should be legal in Vegas.
Maybe.
I think they don't do it because Vegas would just be full of brothels. And they're like, well, we can't, the casinos don't want to compete with
Yeah,
brothels.
it's like, why would you gamble when you could go sleep with a prostitute?
Yeah, yeah.
So, anyways,
Okay.
politics aside, this is not a political podcast.
Okay.
This is
I was just curious about your ideas. Libertarianism accidentally defeats itself every time, just
Yeah.
like anarchism.
no. That's why it's the perfect thing.
Yeah.
It keeps itself in check.
Well, by not existing.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's why it's perfect.
yeah. You're right.
Libertarianism can never become fascism, which is what everything is marching towards fascism until it also explodes. But libertarianism explodes at the gate, at the starting line. And that's why it's the perfect.
Feudalism doesn't march towards fascism.
Look, you and I both know feudalism is the perfect.
Yeah, feudalism is the perfect. If the king is good,
If the king is-
it's the perfect one.
But if the king is bad, then you're it's the worst one. But that's neither here nor there.
Exactly.
So you're going to your shows.
Uh-huh.
You don't have a driver's license because I think the New York City DMV has fucked every single person in this house
It's so hard.
every single time. It's very funny.
They gave Diego a pre-expired license.
That's so funny. As I left the building, they called me and were like, "Oh, we fucked up your driver's. You have to go do the whole thing again because I did one typo." And I was like, "Can you fix the typo?" I was like, "No." And I had to go repay the money, and they refunded me the old money.
no way.
But they were like, "It's gonna take 3 weeks." And I'm like, "Yeah, thanks. Send me the check, I guess." So I'll have $100 tied up in your system.
You paid $100 and they didn't give you the real ID?
I paid $100 twice, and they refunded one of them. And
because you only pay like a small amount for a regular ID. The real ID is the one that costs $100. So they stole $100 from you.
I don't know. I don't care. I'm just like,
Let me see your ID right now. Do you have it on you?
I don't have it on me.
Oh.
So, anyways, yeah. They gave Diego they just sent him in the mail a pre-expired license, and then
They refused to take. So they refused. This is crazy. They're like, the letter has to be postmarked. And I was like, all right, well, it's from the United States government. It's a tax document. And they're like, no, it has to have the stamp.
Yeah,
I was like, all
that's
right.
what that means.
Fine, I get it. Postmarked. I brought them a sealed first class postmarked letter sent to me, and they're like, no, this doesn't count. And I was like, what does postmarked mean to you?
Yeah.
And the lady was like, I don't know, but this isn't it. And I was like, bring someone else over to look at it. And some other guy came over and he was like, I don't know what postmarked is. And I was like, all right, so you won't take this. And they're like, no. And so, but here's what they did instead. I had a bank statement and it had multiple pages of bank statement. And they're like, well, every page of the bank statement counts as a different piece of documentation, which is fucking so. I hate it there.
See,
I hate them so much.
now here's the libertarian. Let's get back to politics again.
Okay.
Here's the libertarian fear: is what if everything that the government controlled worked as badly as the DMV? And that's the nightmare scenario that they like to. So you're like healthcare. It's a DMV thing. It's for getting your food or your housing. It's going to be as bad as the DMV.
Oh, they are. All two of those things are worse than the DMV even.
Sometimes.
No, all the time.
Sometimes.
When was the last time you went to the hospital? Oh, that's right. You can't go.
And that's why it's better.
No.
Because I don't have to deal. If I'm just like, well, I guess I'll die. I don't have to deal. I would rather die than go to the DMV.
No.
That's how much I hate the government.
Dude, it's so bad.
I would rather, allegedly, order experimental drugs with Bitcoin online than ever use a government. The FDA says this is what you need. I'm like, no, I did my own research.
I'm trying to think of a big thing that runs well.
The post office.
That's the only thing, like,
and
not even private sector or government. It's the only thing where I'm like, it does work.
And when you have to go to the post office, it is still a nightmare. But
I guess, and this is fucked up and sucks because Jeff Bezos sucks, but Amazon works pretty good.
Yeah, because
for all the moving pieces it has, it does work.
Yeah, that's how you make money in this day and age, is solving what is it called, the supply chain bullshit.
Yeah, you got to exploit as many people as humanly possible to get my 5 toothbrushes I bought.
I think if you want to make a lot of money right now, you get into cybersecurity, anything around cybersecurity right now, and supply chain. Those two things are the biggest money making markets for just normal people jobs.
Well, the only reason the supply, Amazon's thing is delivery, not supply.
No.
Supply comes from China. The supply chain is fucked up because the factories keep getting shut down from COVID.
Amazon is part of the supply chain. It's a couple links.
No, it's not.
Okay.
The supply chain is. If Amazon was part of the supply chain, why did the boat stuck in the
That's a different part of the
Canal?
Chain. That's an earlier link in the chain.
The supply chain is supplying the goods. I guess moving the goods around technically, but the supply chain problems
Shayne,
currently are not Amazon.
I am part of the supply chain when I go buy us Diet Cokes from the store and bring them to you. You don't.
Okay.
You physically.
You're right. Is it chain with many links? All right. All right. You, MacArthur, are a key part of the supply chain in my world.
I would say one of the most important parts of your supply chain.
Yeah.
So, anyways, your license. You're getting a license. You're trying to get a license from the DMV.
Fuck, dude. It's anyone's guess if it shows up.
So wait, they just haven't even sent it to you yet.
I haven't gotten it. No. Oh, so this is the reason we were talking about the license, and now we're talking about Jeff Bezos. It's because I went to Milwaukee or whatever, or some fucking goddamn place. I can't remember. I think it was Milwaukee. I went there because we had to drive to Appleton because plane tickets are $3 trillion because the oil and gas companies are purposefully fucking us over despite having record profits and a surplus of oil in their stores.
Very real.
Fuck those guys. Eco-terrorism is cool and good.
I've always said that.
Yeah, I know. I've always loved that about you. You're a big eco-terrorist. So I fucking I went there, but the state of New York, when they were like, we'll give you your real ID, I was like, cool, okay, give me my ID back. Because when I got my driver's license, I got 2 driver's licenses in Utah. I had to. They gave me my old one back.
Yeah, they just put like a hole in your old one.
Yeah, but you have it till you get the other one, and people will take it. They get it.
Yeah, bars will be like, yeah, here's your old one, and I'm like, oh, I'm waiting for my new one. And
Yeah. And so I was like, all right, I need that to drive, and they're like, well, you're gonna get a new one, and I go, okay, but I drive.
I think.
And then she literally took it from me, and I was like, all right. And then she was like, she said you could print out a piece of paper or something. Anyway, so I didn't have a license.
Wait, did you print out the paper?
No, of course not.
That's where you fucked up.
Well, yeah, of course it's where I fucked up.
And I understand you, because when you're at the DMV, I'm doing everything I'm clicking next as in real life.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
far,
yeah.
I don't care. $100, fine. $200, fuck me. I don't care. Get me out of here as fast as possible.
Yeah.
I will put a gun in my mouth and kill myself if that's the fastest route out of this building.
I literally was like, as soon as she was like, okay, you are getting your ID, and I asked her multiple times, I was like, and it's a real ID.
Yeah.
She goes, yes, and I go, and you're sure it's a real ID? I literally I wasn't being rude, but I was just like, I was telling her, listen, I'm very dumb, and I need to make sure I get exactly what I need. And she goes, honey, you're getting, I was like, one more time, explain to me. Dude, I was just so, because here's the thing, I didn't want to do more shit because I was like, if I fuck up, I'm not going to get what I want.
Yeah.
So I left and I was like, I think mission accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
I was so careful. It's that thing where you're like, it's not okay till it's okay. So when I went to Milwaukee, I had pre-rented a car, which is also very expensive. And then so I walk up to the counter, I would like a car, please. And they go, did you already pay? I go, I already paid. When you already pay, you have to post a photo of your license and stuff.
Okay.
So I was like, give me the key, please.
Because you've rented from this company before.
And sometimes they do just literally just give you the keys. Like you give them a credit card and they go, awesome. And they throw you the keys. This is the number.
When people are bros about their job.
Yeah.
When people are like, yeah, of course. When sticklers.
Do you want to guess what the person was? What they looked like?
I want to say.
But there was a stickler.
I want to say it was
in Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee, not to disparage this type of person, but it was. It was. I'm guessing because I haven't seen it. You haven't told me. I want to be. Was it a mid-looking 40-year-old woman?
Yes.
You know what? I get it.
Oh,
I understand.
man, dude. Yes, it was some middle-aged bitchy white lady who was like, let me see your ID. And I go, I have a photo of it.
I understand, though, because you look like you, and she has to work that job, and life hasn't worked out the way she wanted it to. So, yeah, she has to get back by asserting what little power she has.
Well, here's the
following the rules.
So she's like, let me see your ID, which does happen sometimes. So I was like, okay, fair. You want to ask me for my ID? I gave her my passport. She goes, I need to see your license. I was like, well, you have a photo of it on file. I had to put a photo into the fucking thing to pre-order this car. And she goes, I need to see your physical license. And I was like, I don't have it. I have a photo of it. And she goes, that's not enough. And I was like, so my passport, my license, the fact that I have a valid license to rent the car and pay for it isn't enough. You will not give it to me unless I have a license right now. She goes, yes. And I go, and a photo of it at this moment isn't enough for you. And she goes, no. I was like, all right. And then she was like, yep. So just enjoy not having a car. And there was nothing she could do, apparently. Then I was like, what if my friend has a license? And she goes, no. Not you rented the car in your name, and we are out of cars, so I am giving your car away, and you cannot transfer it to another person.
Wow.
And I was like, really? And she was like, yep. And I was like, so I rented this car. It is already mine, and I paid for it, but you're going to give it to someone else. I can't have my friend get it.
Did you get your money back?
So she would not give me my money back. I had to call and fucking argue with them to get my money back. The way I got to rent a car was, luckily there's an app that does ride share renting, and it is way more expensive than normal car rentals, unfortunately. But there is a fucking air show in Milwaukee, and apparently Wisconsin's such a godforsaken hellhole.
Hey, I like Wisconsin.
The air show.
I've never been there, but I hear good things about their cheese.
It's bad. It's the most drunk state in the United States.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I know you like it.
cheese and
beer,
alcohol?
dude. It's cheese and beer.
Let's go, Green Bay.
People look. Yeah.
There's like
you have a cool and good body. In Wisconsin, they'd be like, "Look at what are you? Some kind of athlete?"
I think 2 of my favorite movies are based in Wisconsin.
Really?
Fargo and Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Oh,
Drop Dead Gorgeous in Minnesota.
You're right. You
which
fucked
I
up.
also, my second favorite state.
Yeah, it's a really good one. I like Minnesota because Drop Dead Gorgeous is really good. Anyway.
Fargo is in.
Listen, Appleton was fun. The shows were great, but Wisconsin is anyway. So there's a fucking air show, and the air show drew so many people around Wisconsin to it that there were no cars anywhere. So I get on this app that allows you to rent cars, and I have photos of my license already saved in my cloud from something. I realize I have them. I think I had to take photos of them for like some work thing. I upload those photos to the app. It's like, okay, good. You have a license. This works. Lets me sign up. And then I look, and there was literally one car left in Milwaukee, in all of Milwaukee, in every rental thing humanly possible to rent, and it was a Tesla.
Nice. What kind?
It was the SUV, the Tesla X.
Ooh.
So I was like, fuck it, man. I'm renting this. It was like 3 times as expensive. I lost money. I was like, fuck it. Because it was that or nothing. It was that or try to figure out how to take the bus. So I was like, fuck it, man. I rented a Tesla. The guy was really cool to me.
You gotta go.
He didn't ask for my ID.
Yeah, he's just a guy.
Yeah. He was like, you have the app? Fuck it, dude. So he let me take
I bet if someone fucks up your car, you get paid to their insurance.
He saw me at first, and I could tell he was like, this guy's
He's
gonna fucking take my Tesla.
He's like, oh.
Yeah, he's like,
he's
oh,
trying to figure out
fuck. Like a way, like, oh, it turns out I actually need the car.
My wife is dying right now.
yeah.
I have to drive my car to the hospital.
So he was really weird, but then all of a sudden he stops and he goes, you're the guy. And I was like, I am. And then he was really cool to me after.
He's a fan.
You realize he goes, I like your comedy. And then he was like,
look at that.
Oh, and then he goes, he said something about like, hey, you guys are cool or whatever. And then he goes, my husband likes your comedy. And I was like, oh, we're in business, baby.
Oh, he's a gay guy.
Yeah. So
Hell
he was
yeah.
like really progressive and cool. And then he was really nice and he fucking showed me how to do everything and was like a super fun. And I low-key wanted to be like, you're going to be able to see all the data from this drive.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask him, but then I was like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you could probably. I bet the app
could see.
tells you how fast they're driving.
Oh yeah, he could see everything, like a total like thing of like all the. Because there's a few times I had to put the pedal down.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta try it.
Like,
it's an electric car. It has so much torque. It was insane.
Yeah, really.
So anyway, I got to drive the Tesla, but we put it into autopilot and there was construction and the autopilot was just like taking us through it and they were asleep and I was just like, oh, fuck. Like we got very close.
It was doing good or bad?
It was bad. Because the autopilot is perfect.
Good for a person or bad for a person?
You have to...
Driving through construction.
Oh, it was bad.
I get a little nervous driving through construction.
You can't
But I'm like, you know what? I got this.
The one time you shouldn't use the autopilot is during construction because there's like stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it can't like really see. Yeah. So I was like, oh no. But it works super fucking great. Like in traffic, it ruled. Because you turn it on and it just drives through traffic perfectly.
Can you set it to like drive aggressively?
You can actually.
I want you to weave in between people.
Oh, you can't really set
flash
it to
your
weave,
blinker.
but you can set it to follow people close and stuff. It was pretty sick, man.
Every time you pass someone, honk.
And then there was
make it an angry sounding honk.
There was like a souped up Honda Civic that with its like spoiler and its fucking like body kit on it.
Let me guess. Another middle-aged mom.
No. It's like some guy at night and he was like revving his engine at us and I was like, let's fucking go. And then we went and the second we started to go, I fucking crushed him.
Yeah.
It's a Tesla. It has a crazy, like it's an instantaneous amount of torque. And then he just never tried to drive next to us again. I was like, that's what you got fucking
him?
smoked, dude, by an SUV, like a fucking lame ass mom car.
Was he by himself?
I don't know.
Did he have a girl?
Probably.
You should have been like, hey, give me your car.
Yeah, you fucking lost your car, pussy. You can't lose to an SUV and you're fucking souped up. Electric cars, that's why they don't let them drag race because it's just like
they do. It's a different league.
Oh yeah. They can't fight, but they like their other drags. They can't hang. There's just no way.
Yeah,
electric cars have so much torque that like people don't want to drag race them at public tracks because sometimes the torque will just take the car out of control and it'll wreck immediately.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So you were driving a Tesla. Wait, so it got a little sketchy during construction? But
Like the guys were asleep. It was in the morning, and I was kind of just like letting the autopilot do its thing. Just
wait,
being
were you?
like,
Wait.
No, no. I was aware.
You
but
were
I was
awake the
kinda
whole
out of
time.
it. I was
I don't
out
know.
of it.
You're a very easy sleeper.
I was out of it, so I was like sitting there, and all of a sudden I was kind of
can't-
like, "Huh, those cones are on the right side of us." And then I was like, "Oh fuck!" So I had to like at full speed weave, like time it and go through the cone because there was like shit, and I was just like, "Woo!" And Mike and Diego were like asleep, and I was just like,
didn't wake them up?
I like weaved, and Mike was like, and I was like. Just driving, like pretending like everything was normal, and I just put the autopilot back on. It was
You weren't like, that was the car, not me.
Yeah. I was like, fuck, man, that was so. So we almost died in the Tesla X, but we had to wake up at 3:30 in the morning to drive back. I didn't sleep the night before. I was
You didn't
tired.
have me. You didn't have
dude,
my
we didn't have our fucking
autistic night driving powers.
No, dude, I didn't.
I could outdrive any Tesla.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could. It only lasts for so long. I think you only if you drive without.
Oh, well, I'm talking about the auto drive.
You can outdrive the. Yeah, the auto drive is bad.
But
it like only works a little bit. It's like a little better than cruise control.
But good enough that you could take a nap to it.
On like the open highway, maybe. On the open highway, yeah. Really, what it's good for is traffic. If I lived in LA, I'm like, yeah, Tesla's the way to go. Listen, Elon Musk sucks my dick, and actually Teslas aren't even that great a car, but they light on fire sometimes. If I was going to get an electric car, I don't know what I would get. But
I don't like
autopilot,
that. Whoa. Elon Musk is a fucking dork, and there's many reasons to shit on him. Him aside, I hate when people try and dunk on Teslas. Like, they explode. It's like, normal cars also catch on fire.
Sure.
Normal cars also have really bad, like the Tesla for what it is. It's a pretty cool car.
No, yeah, I agree.
It has a great safety rating.
Electric cars are good.
Their production quality is getting lazy in recent years.
Yeah.
So they're
overworking their factory workers.
They're becoming a lazy, normal company instead of a up and starting into like shake 'em up industry, like new, like, we gotta disrupt it. Now they're just a company, and it's like, I guess. So I'm really excited to see Ford build like their F-150 version of like, here we're gonna make.
I want a Raptor.
We're gonna make 400 billion of the same truck.
Yeah.
And they're all gonna be electric. You would like an electric Raptor?
That'd be sick as fuck, dude.
I think
I also want like an electric 2-seater, like a Miata, like maybe if BMW or something. Or some Mazda, they make like a Miata. But it just drives like twice as long. Like the range is crazy.
Have you ever seen the guys who pulled the Tesla motors out of the wheels and put them in like a Gremlin?
Yeah,
or like a Volkswagen Beetle or something. You could always do that.
Yeah, that'd be sick as fuck.
That's the thing I don't like about those cars is all the computer bullshit taking away. I have a boomer brain when it comes to cars. I'm like, get this fucking computer out of here. I want to listen to my compact disc or tape cassette. I want to switch manual gears. I want complete control.
But any car made after 2000, the computer in the car still is required for it to drive.
I know, and I'm just like, I gotta find one car. I think there's a Rush song where some guy. It's the year 2025, and all cars are illegal. And some guy like pulls back a curtain in a barn, and he finds a car, and he's like driving around town raising hell, and the police can't catch him because he has a car.
It's so silly. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, that's why.
Noted libertarian band. Get an Rush.
Get an old Camaro.
That'd be sick.
That would be sick. I would like to have a classic car if I lived in a place where it made sense. But in the city here, man,
you need a car that the government can't shoot their electronic jamming gun at the engine block and shut it down. Yeah. And you need a car with no electronics in it.
In LA,
a car made out of steel, where if you crash it, that's your coffin, your steel coffin.
Yeah.
But also will deflect bullets. I used to have a Ford F-250. I think it was like 1983 or 84, and the body of that truck was insane. I'm not kidding. I got like 8 miles per gallon. in driving it around because the engine, it was so heavy. It was just a steel body, and me and my buddies were like, look how we started hitting it one day with a hammer, and the paint wasn't even chipping. We're just banging on the side of my truck with hammers, and it's not denting. The steel was like maybe a 16th or an eighth of an inch thick on the body of this truck, and I was like, God damn. I don't know why they made things to last too good.
Yeah,
back
dude.
then.
That's
Pretty
the way to
cool.
do it, though.
Pretty cool truck. I was afraid to crash it because I'm like, oh yeah, this would just wrap around me. And the jaws of life, they don't make jaws of life that would be able
Strong
to peel
enough.
They're just like, all right, well, we're gonna leave you in there and throw you in a junkyard.
Dude. The Tesla's good for the traffic, though.
That's what you.
That's why I would have it. 1,000,000%. Like if you're in LA, you just turn on the autopilot for like the hour you're stuck, and you're like, all right, I'm at my exit. I'll turn the autopilot off, and then you're good.
You know, there's companies that make kits, auto driving kits that you can retrofit like old any car with.
Really?
I mean, you have to be a fucking
You'd have to be so much money.
You have to be a car nerd and a computer nerd.
Yeah, you might as well just have the Tesla at that point.
No.
When's Tesla gonna? They're supposed to make a car that like, they were supposed to make like a cheap Tesla, like a $20,000 Tesla. What happened to that?
I think don't they have like a $30,000 one?
No,
They do.
Do they? They were supposed to make it like a Ford Fiesta style.
It doesn't have any of the auto driving feature. It like really it sucks. They have poor man Teslas. It's like 30 grand. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I've never had 30 grand in my life. I've never been able to afford. The most expensive item I think I've ever owned was a 1997 Lexus that was probably worth around 4 or 5 grand. And then the next most expensive item I've ever owned in my life was a PC computer that I maxed out a credit card when I was 18 for 2 grand.
The least expensive Tesla is like $50,000.
Wow.
Brand new.
And it doesn't.
Yep. $46,000 right now for the Tesla 3.
Is that inflation prices?
That's just what it is. Oh, if you get it long range, it's 57. If you get it for performance, it's 62. If you get it base, 47.
That's the shitty thing. They just unlock things with software. All the cars can do long range, but you have to pay them an extra 5-6 grand.
I think the battery, the physical battery, is
I think they're the same.
something like more. But yeah, anyway, it's kind of, I don't know. It's expensive. It would be cool if someone made like a Ford Fiesta style car that was electric for regular people. Yeah. But it's fucking, I don't know, man. Electric cars are the future for sure. Though electricity takes up as much like overall natural, like as far as like resources in our society go, it's a lot. Oil and gas is fucked up, but I don't know. We got to figure it out. We got to figure out our water problem, man. I think about the water wars all the time.
People keep thinking about water wars. I'm like, I'm not worried. I'm just gonna keep drinking Diet Coke. The way I see so many people wasting water, I'm not.
It makes me have so much anxiety to just see people use it. Like people in New York just pop open the hydrants and they just spray into the street.
They have to do that. You have to do that to like flush the system.
I know, but it just like all of that shit just makes me have so much anxiety.
This is when people talk about water wars or like we're gonna run out of gasoline. I'm like, things might get bad, but they will never become catastrophic because of those things. I think we have it's like, you know how we were running out of oil and then they invented fracking and they're like, oh look, we can get even deeper oil and it'll just fuck up the earth a little bit more. That just keeps happening. We're going to run out of water, but then we'll just come up with we'll figure out how to make desalination cheaper and it'll just fuck up the air a little bit. And then we'll run out of air and then we'll figure out how to farm air, to separate molecules and make air. And it'll just make the air a little more radioactive. We'll have all these new things.
I don't disagree with you, but you're forgetting the consequences in the interim. Like, we started to run out of gas once. Do you want to know when it happened?
In the 70s? What?
It was in the 1940s. Do you want to know what the consequences of running out of that gas was?
What?
The German invasion of Russia and the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor.
All right, but
Yeah. Yeah, so just the World War.
but every time there's a gigantic world war, everyone who sees the other side of it gets to live in prosperity for
We
a
started
little
to run
bit.
out of resources in World War One. People were like, "We got to shore this. We're gonna fight over this." I mean, listen, it's gonna. If we start to run out of water, and people do run out of water, and it is apocalyptic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just.
What are you
it's
gonna
happen? So when you're like, the world will be fine. It's like, yeah, I guess in the long term,
That's all I care
it'll be
about.
here. It's not gonna be good for us necessarily.
Maybe.
Us personally, it could be very bad.
I think if we both got sent to a world war, it'd be good for the podcast.
Okay, yeah, we would podcast from the war.
I would podcast through the war.
Dude, do you think there's any Russians or Ukrainians podcasting from the war?
Maybe. I don't know.
We should just go do war reporting.
I would.
You want to go to Ukraine? You know I'll go.
I would say no because there's the Redditors who were taking photos and got themselves bombed.
Well, we won't take photos. That's the thing. We'll talk about our experiences. We won't talk about where we are or anything.
No, I'll talk about where I am. I'll be like, I talked to
Here's what we do.
Gregory.
We'll do the podcast, but we release them months later. So we'll be a month behind.
Okay, I like that.
That's a good idea.
Also, I don't have a dog in the Ukraine-Russia war. They're
Yeah,
both-
neither do I. That's why we're the perfect reporters.
No, I'm saying let's wait for let's wait for the water wars.
yeah.
Who's gonna fight over water? Is it just gonna be America invading people for water?
Basically, yeah.
We're gonna go in the water mines.
I mean, you got to take over and control places where there are rivers. Basically, if like you live in a place where there's a river and then upstream they begin to like take all the water,
Oh,
you're
okay.
like, we're gonna come up there and fucking kill you
So
for this
basically,
water.
we're gonna invade Canada.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna also glaciers are gonna be like Greenland is fucked. Eventually, people are going to attack Greenland for its glaciers.
I don't know. I mean,
Which is really funny to be like, oh god damn it, we're like one of the smallest, least important countries.
I don't think it's gonna happen that way.
Okay.
I think
You sound like everyone who was like, I don't think the terrorists are going to attack the United States for real. I don't think Germany's going to invade Poland.
look, there's two
Japan
sides.
would never attack America.
There's two sides to doomsday predictions. You either be like, "Hey, the world is gonna end," and when it doesn't, you look like a fool, or you say, "Hey, the world is not going to end," and then when it does, I look like a fool.
I'm not
if the world is ending and I'm looking like a fool, no one's pointing at me like,
I'm not a
Max
doomsday
said the
guy.
world wasn't going to end,
No.
and now it is. Look at his dumb ass.
There's a difference between being a guy who thinks the world's going to end and being a guy who's like, things are going to get really bad. I told people Russia was going to invade Ukraine a long time ago. I was like, hey, the largest tank battle since World War II was fought in Ukraine. No one listened to me. Not that it matters, or I was even like doomsaying, but I was like, yeah, probably keep an eye on that. And then now we're here, and I'm like, yeah, well, it's not like I was saying World War III was going to start, but I don't think World War III is going to happen, but I think that there's going to be a big modern war pretty soon here that's bigger than Ukraine.
Do tanks have self-driving capabilities yet? That would be nice.
Drone tanks.
No.
They're working on them.
I want to be in my tank and set hot Tesla
Oh, yeah,
autopilots and just take a nap while my tank drives around.
So, like, I wonder if tank combat will kind of become like Gundam combat after
I don't
a
know
while.
how Gundam combat. I've never watched any of your
Oh, okay.
your
Well,
anime.
it's fine.
What is that supposed to mean?
I don't know.
Giant robots?
Isn't it like, well, they're so advanced that like only one guy runs the tank? Because tanks still need a crew. You need a guy who you need a guy who loads the tank. You need a gunner, a commander, and a driver.
The guy who runs the radio. The aux, the guy who you have to hand the aux cord to the one guy. You can't trust the driver.
Dude, the aux cord is a real thing in the tank.
Yeah.
Tank crews listen to like. Have you ever seen the videos of the first invasion of Iraq or whatever, or the second one where they're in 2003? They're listening to like Drowning Pool and Slipknot just blowing up buildings.
Imagine how mad you would be if you're trying to shoot shells at the enemy,
and they're listening to Ween.
No, that would be cool.
No, it would suck. They're not war music.
You don't know. There's some fucked up angry Ween songs. One of the first song on their first album is called "You Fucked Up,"
That's really
and it's one of
funny.
the angriest songs. And I think to quote it, it goes, "You fucked up, you fucking Nazi whore."
Really?
You don't. This is the thing. You criticize Ween, but you don't listen
It's
to
not
it.
war music. It's still not war music. I think it sounds fun, but it's not war
They,
music.
they got some war songs.
No, they don't. I would
Oh.
like to hear them.
Sometimes
Post it in the comments and let the listeners
Oh, yeah,
decide.
I'll post a link to that song. But yeah,
Just plugging Ween.
yeah, you got.
We should contact them and see if they want to do the podcast.
They're busy touring.
What?
When they
Bands
were
do stuff?
when they were broken up, probably it was they were an easy get.
I thought that guy does that fishing trip.
No, he
thing.
was doing fishing trips in New Jersey, but then the band got back together, and now he's back to being making millions, probably hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know about that, man.
He probably has $1 million. That's not a lot, but
You think?
$1 million.
I don't know. Maybe.
How long do you think you could live on $1 million? You can't buy a tank with that kind of money.
$1 million?
You could buy maybe
And can I live wherever I want?
yes.
On $1 million, I could live for like 10 years, easy, more.
See? And then what happens when you're 45 years old?
Well, I would just have a part-time job, and then I would just save money. I would probably last incredibly. If I had $10 million, man, I would last a long time.
I didn't say 10 million. I said 1 million.
Oh, 1 million. Sorry, you
Arguing.
said 10 years, and then I got 10,
Yeah.
the number 10 in my
No,
mind.
1 million is not a lot of money
It's
anymore.
a crazy amount of money.
Thanks the federal bank for printing money and ramping inflation up. It's their fault. We should have never left the gold standard.
What?
Sorry, this has been a very libertarian episode.
I don't think the Federal Reserve is exactly on the hook for inflation, though. They are a part of it. They're trying to fix it right now. They
they're-
rose interest rates twice, which they haven't done since 1995. So we'll see if it fixes anything.
They're not trying to fix it.
Why wouldn't they?
So they can make more money for the elites.
But yeah, maybe. I think they're trying to fix it because they have to. But
They have to pretend to fix it.
well, they have to. If the economy stalls out and breaks, the elites will. It just depends. I
They'll
guess.
just keep. If the economy crashes like it is and money becomes worthless, all the people with money will continue to buy all the buildings in the giant mega. What are they called? The giant super corporations that are just buying houses.
Yeah.
It's funny because I hate when everyone's like, I hate landlords. It's like, I don't hate a guy who owns a house and rents it or owns like 4 or 5 houses. I don't hate a guy who owns 10 to 20 houses. I hate BlackRock who owns 20,000 homes.
Unlike you, I'm based, and I hate both.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I support individuals.
I mean,
I think
sure.
corporations shouldn't have any rights.
Corporations are individuals.
I know. They should have no rights.
Yeah.
You
I
should-
mean, listen, I agree with you there.
Individuals should have rights.
But a
It-
rich individual is just a corporation unto themselves.
Here's what I think. Billionaires, if we should be on the gold standard.
Okay.
And so it would be much harder for billionaires to like do what they want to do because of physical limitations of their money. Having made up numbers in a bank, like, oh, you're worth this much, is too convenient. If you had to like cart around all your money in trucks and have like a private army protect your money, it would be a lot.
I can solve that problem.
How's that?
I'll invent something called a bank.
No,
and then
that's-
you'll put your gold in the
see?
bank, and then they'll give you notes that will say,
Nope.
you invented the need for the banking
I'm
system.
anti-bank.
So you go no bank. You want to do it feudal style before
Yes,
banks.
We've talked about this. Feudalism.
Yeah. Banks will feudalism kind of accidentally invent. You know who invented the banks on accident? Catholics.
Yeah, because
The modern banks. Rome had a bank, but
because they couldn't handle money on Sundays, right?
no, because pilgrims going to the new kingdom of Jerusalem they didn't want to get robbed. Highway robbers were like robbing all the Christians and shit. So what they would do is they would give the Knight Templar bank all their gold, and then when they got to Jerusalem, they would have notes, or they would have someone mail the notes to them, and then they could show the bank in Jerusalem, hey, the bank back here has my gold, and then they would give them that gold, but they would take a percentage of it. And so then that's how like modern banking kind of worked. And then of course, who
second
ended
part.
up getting deep into that.
Well, that's because the Catholics are like, hey, we can't do banking stuff on Sunday.
Yeah.
All these Jewish people, their Sunday is on Saturday.
Well, Christians aren't allowed to lend other Christians money.
Oh, is that the reason?
So you give the Christians your money, but you get money from Jewish people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then vice versa it works. And then Jewish people started doing loans.
Are Jewish people they're like, yeah, we'll lend anyone money.
Yeah.
No, but like, we'll lend each other money.
Well, and then if
Are Jews allowed to lend Jews money?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then, but here's the thing. Who do you like? Who's the person you like the least? It's the guy you lent money to that you didn't pay that then comes to your house and goes, I'm taking your shit.
Yep.
And then that snowballs into a whole thing.
And then they end up controlling Hollywood. And then a bunch of conspiracies start. Then they make the world flat for some reason.
If
I
Jewish
don't
people
know
control
why.
Hollywood, how come I can't get on I don't get any audition I audition for?
You don't look.
I know.
You may your bloodline might be. But
It's true. I'm not.
Your hairline's not curly enough.
I'm not religious. I don't
Yeah.
look like it. It's like I'm not doing anything enough.
You're a really bad Jew.
I know. My dad's last name is Smith. I should have changed my last name. I should have kept.
Smithowitz?
I should have kept Führer.
I don't know.
I know it's not great.
I think
It's even worse now that I think about it. I'm like, well, it's European. Maybe people will be like, no, they would literally be like, your name is Shayne Führer? And then I look like this?
Yeah, that's a good move to just drift away
Keeping
from
Smith
that.
was good. I could have gone with a stage name, like certain people that I've met
No.
before.
All right, we're gonna end the podcast 10 minutes early. So, anyways, you like the Tesla.
Tesla was fun.
You become Tesla pilled, and
I am electric car pilled. Teslas are fun.
and you have betrayed. You've betrayed your own kind by enjoying a capitalist fruit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you betrayed your own kind by everything you've ever by living in New York.
Yeah, I do. I live here. That's another one of those things. Is whenever I hear doomsday scenarios from people who live in New York,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, you should probably move somewhere that's not a city
Yeah.
in any apocalypse scenario. So like,
yeah, we
if
all die instantly.
If some like rich liberal person's like, oh well, this is coming. Like, why do you live here then? Why don't you live in the middle of nowhere and have a stockpile of food and guns and water? Why don't you live
Yeah.
anywhere where there's less people if an apocalypse is coming?
If the apocalypse comes or like there's a big thing, Alaska's probably where you want to be.
Yeah, that would be.
Though maybe not. If Russia and the United States end up fighting each other in an actual modern war, Alaska will be attacked by Russia pretty quick.
I would say if you're an American and you do want an apocalyptic and you are afraid of apocalyptic scenario, shout out Minnesota and Wisconsin, because as soon as stuff starts happening and all chaos ensues, you grab your supplies, you head up north. Canadians are nice people. They'll be like, sure, come hang out with us during the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Borders
You don't
aren't
think Canada
real anymore.
will be fighting?
What?
Canada will be fighting.
Some of them, but you just go a little more north and there's no one up there.
I wonder how. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you're hanging out in the middle part of Canada, it's like, yeah, you're good to go.
No one cares about
It's
what
pretty
happens up there.
inhospitable up there, though, right?
I mean, it's either that or the water wars.
True.
You got to pick your poison in life.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. How are you going to get food, though?
Eating animals.
Okay.
Whatever's up there.
Yeah.
Cannibalism.
Cannibalism is one main way.
Whatever I got to do.
All right. That's pretty good. Dude, The Road. That just reminds me of The Road. Fuck. Don't watch that, everyone. It's just like ruining my own day thinking about it.
Really?
Yeah, it was brutal.
What about the book?
The book is also brutal. The movie was a little more visceral. The book is like, I read fucked up stuff, but for some reason the movie really got me. Just like I think there's something about visually seeing it and how well acted it is.
I think I would turn into the guy from Mad Max 2 in the road scenario. Have a hockey mask and just do steroids all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you would find a stockpile of steroids?
I would find a stockpile. And then I would.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Mac, are you on a stack right now?
No, not right now. There's no apocalypse scenario.
Oh, when are you going to do steroids?
When the bombs start dropping, when the water war starts, when I have to be intimidating.
I'm surprised you're not using performance-enhancing drugs in order to do your cigarette marathon.
Not yet.
Why wouldn't you take them now? The faster you get in shape, the better training quality you'll have.
If you know how to give me steroids.
How do you not know how to get steroids? You're the fucking online guy.
I don't know. It's not my realm.
I've literally gone into your room and been like, "What's this weird thing?" And you're like, "It's an experimental drug I found on 4chan. It makes my dreams insane in 5D and my dick harder."
Nicotine?
Two random things that don't make sense. Or you're like, "This is a drug that gives you anxiety and helps you lose weight."
Oh, Yohimbride?
Yeah, which didn't work.
For you.
It didn't work for you.
It does work. I'm not taking it.
I mean, I don't. Okay.
Do you remember when I was at my thinnest, when I was like 175?
In Utah, when you were exercising all the time?
That's a drug you take when you're exercising. And I'm not right now. Because
I think
I'm sick.
The drug didn't work, but the exercise did.
It works. It enhances.
I do love when people are like, it doesn't work unless you exercise. I've heard that a lot. And I'm like, seems like the exercise is the main thing that we're talking about right now.
Dude, I'm not a doctor. Dr. MacArthur is a PhD.
In
street medicine, theoretical street medicine.
Theoretical street medicine.
Do your own research before taking these things. Any drugs I've mentioned, they will give you crazy anxiety unless you're stupid like me and just power through it.
I tried Yohimbrine and it made me feel really bad. I cannot believe how bad it made me feel. The only other drug that's made my anxiety worse was the current drugs I'm on. I took my therapist or my doctor was like, we should up the dose. And I was like, okay. And we upped the dose and it made me insane. I've never had anxiety like that. It literally made me paranoid and out of my mind. I've never felt like that before.
But you're better now.
I'm better now. I downed the dose. I'm back to normal. And now I'm fucking feeling better than ever. They work, baby.
I can't
believe I was so afraid to be medicated for so long.
Yeah, I need to start taking more weight loss drugs.
Yeah. I'm like, here's the thing. The only weight loss drug I've ever known to work was Ripped Fuel. And it just had fucking, what's it called?
Meth?
No, it had a steroid in it that women take. That doesn't up your estrogen too much.
What it had?
It's oh fuck! It's a steroid you take by mouth. I can't remember, but I know a bunch of the female powerlifters take it because it's not a stack. It's just one you can take, and it's not like a crazy one, but it works. And that's what was in Ripped Fuel. And they were like, this is a performance enhancing because athletes were taking it and getting in trouble for getting popped.
Popping?
Yeah. And so
they're like, I was just taking my creatine and protein powder and this pre-workout.
Ripped Fuel was so popular in the army in the early 2000s. Like everyone was taking Ripped Fuel. Oh, dude.
If you have some...
It had caffeine in it, too, so it would make... Not only would... It was like a pre-workout that had a real steroid in it. It was fucking crazy, man. I can't believe... Dude, what a Wild West back then.
If you know about the current Jacked 3D or Ripped Fuel of today, please DM me on anything. Twitter, Instagram, at Dr. MacArthur. I need to know. That's been the podcast. Thank you for listening, everybody. If you would like more episodes of what you just heard, subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/cowboyboys.
Patreon.com/cowboyboys. The most important thing you can do for either of us, if you've ever thought, hey, I want to do something nice for Shayne or Mac, or I want them to eat food or have a good life.
Yeah.
subscribing to that Patreon is the best way you can do it.
Also, the best place to talk to us directly.
Yeah, you can literally say anything and we'll read it. For 100% sure, we will read it. And if you ask us a question, we will answer it.
Yeah,
or if you want our opinions, or if you whatever.
It's the whole thing.
It could be about anything.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. You got anything else?
I'm going to be in here, fill time for 5 seconds while I open
up your website, ShayneSmithComedy.com.
ShayneSmithComedy.com. Why is it? No. Okay. Well, it's not working. It doesn't matter. ShayneSmithComedy.com. Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm going to be in Cleveland. I'm going to be in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm actually remembering now. San Diego. I'm going to be in a bunch of spots. Come see me. Springfield, Missouri. So those are all the spots.
San Diego, Tampa, Orlando.
Those are the other two I didn't say. Yeah. Those are in October. Come see me do comedy. I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.